ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second debate as part of the Women in Travel meetup. So, having concluded the leadership debate and then the group mentoring, I think we are all buzzing a little bit from the experience. And now we are going to be talking about entrepreneurship, startup, and how to make it, accessing funding for business as well. So I have a very distinguished panel of speakers I'm going to speak with and let talk in a moment. I'd like to ask you to come forward, please, if you are sitting at the back. I said it before that from a viewpoint of the panelists, it's very lonely to have all people at the back. So please do come and sit. No, don't be scared. And it's lovely to have us all right up front and have you engaged in the discussion. I promise we won't put you on the spot. Not yet, anyway. Okay, and welcome to those who are coming in now. Feel free to sit down. So, again, my name is Alessandra Alonso, for those who might have arrived now and not heard me speaking before. So, I'm the organizer and founder of the Women in Travel meetup. And my day job is as consultant and mentor at Everyday Mentor. So I'm going to now sit down and I'm going to welcome my speakers. Thank you very much, ladies, for joining me. So we are talking about entrepreneurship. And first of all, I would like to ask each of you, perhaps starting with yourself, Natalia, just to introduce yourself, say in a few moments, you know, are you an entrepreneur? Why are you here talking about entrepreneurship? And perhaps what's your perspective on female entrepreneurship?
Okay, yes. So, hello, I'm Natalia. I'm the founder of I'm Adventures, which takes women on creative walking adventures around the world. I'm going to talk a little bit about women and social businesses, if that's okay with you. So, I'm Adventures is a social business, and that, for me, means that we try and do good with every aspect of the business. So, from the people that we hire, to the people that we take on the trips, and to the places that we visit, and the people that we meet, predominantly female-focused. And it's really interesting, actually. I was saying on one of the tables earlier, I went to the refugee talk earlier, and all the people talking were women, and 90% of the audience were also women, which I found really interesting. And there was a fact that I read very recently about how 91% of women in social businesses, 91% of social businesses have at least one woman on their board or at a senior level. And I'd just like to leave that there, really, for now.
Okay. Thank you. CAROLYN.
So I'm CAROLYN PEARSON. I'm the founder and chief exec of Maiden Voyage. And for those of you who don't know us yet, we are a global organisation which empower female business travellers. So predominantly I set up the business to connect women when they were travelling on business, because I spent far too many lonely nights sitting in hotel restaurants by myself or in my bedroom having room service. So we started off as a social platform, and we've ballooned into sort of travel risk management for female business travellers. We've got a team of ambassadors in about 60 cities now around the world who can advise on safe places to visit, local business etiquette, dress codes, those kinds of things. And we also set the world standard for female-friendly hotels. But my take on entrepreneurship is that it's bloody hard. If any of you have done these management assessments where you've got a circle of life and you've got your family and you've got your wealth and you've got your education and you've got your career, I can honestly say that being an entrepreneur has decimated all those other parts of my life at some point or other. But I'm still here and I'm still loving the ride, and it's a roller coaster and I can choose to get off at any point, but I choose not to. But one of the things that I do to keep my sanity is that I've moved my business into an entrepreneur's hub where we hang out with loads of other entrepreneurs, and there were 80 businesses came in at the same time. And in this Entrepreneurs Hub, they reward us with prizes for having a go-do attitude. And I have to say, the women are rocking the prizes. So they do tend to have that resilience, that when they get parts of their life decimated by being an entrepreneur, they just keep going with it and going with it. They don't give up, whereas we do start to see some of the men disappear when the going gets tough.
Thank you very much. And you have recently had your major, may I say, break accessing funding, which was one of the reasons why you felt it was good to be here. So we are going to talk a little bit about that, because it's one of the things that I find female entrepreneurs find harder, access to funding. So thank you for that. Sarah.
Hello, I'm Sara Ismail. I'm the founder of Trip for Wellness, which is an inbound travel agency for spa and well-being in Portugal. I'm on a mission to put Portugal as a wellness destination, to help put Portugal as a wellness destination, not only known for beach and golf, but also for healthy holidays. I'm working at Startup Lisboa, which is a local Lisbon City incubator, and I've been there since March this year, and I've started this business last year as an idea, writing down on a paper how would I do it, and now it's live, and I'm really happy and tired. But it's been one of the most important challenges in my life.
Yes. And you, Sarah, also have the experience of being a working mum, like many of us. So I guess, starting your business whilst also looking after the kids. So it will be interesting also to hear your perspective, because obviously that's one of the other challenges that women face when they want to launch their own business. And
well, my children are they're older now. I mean, my older son is 12. And the little one is 10, so I don't have toddlers anymore.
No.
But of course,
you're a taxi driver now.
Cabify, Uber, but it requires a lot of planning on my side, planning ahead, breaking down large goals and large tasks into smaller ones, and also asking them for helps once in a while. And they know mommy has to work, and they're also proud of having. At school the other day, someone asked them, what does your mom do? And he said, my mother is a businesswoman. And he came home and he told me that, and he was proud. And I think they start to understand more and more this kind of entrepreneurship and all this world, and it's nice.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Vanessa, can you tell us a little bit about She Trades and how She Trades fit in female entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to say how inspiring it is for me to have the privilege of spending time with women entrepreneurs. I think women are so energetic in their approach to running businesses. They are so supportive of each other, in my experience, and it's always just so inspirational for me to spend time with you. So I'm Vanessa. I head the International Trade Centre's Women in Trade program. The International Trade Centre is a joint agency of the United Nations and the World Trade Organization, and for over 50 years, we've been helping SMEs from developing countries to internationalize, to find new markets, to go international. At ITC, we focus very much on women entrepreneurs, because despite an additional $28 trillion that could be added to GDP by 2025, $28 trillion, that's China, India, US combined, we see that women-owned companies are still not plugged into the global economy, that only 1 in 5 exporting companies is owned by women, and we're here at the WTM because we've seen that in tourism is actually one of those sectors where women are very, very active. In fact, there are twice as many women employers in the tourism sector than any other sector, which is why we're here. We've brought with us 15 companies from 10 different countries. They're part of the She Trades delegation, and She Trades is our flagship initiative on women's economic empowerment. Our goal is to connect 1 million women to markets by 2020.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely.
And I
Yes.
hope some of you will be some of those women.
Woo. We hope so. We hope so, everybody. So let me ask all of you. Entrepreneurship is still very much a high on government agenda here in the UK, but in most countries, I would say, certainly in the country that I know of. However, entrepreneurship, albeit rising, female entrepreneurship, albeit rising very fast, I think in the US is the fastest growing segment in business. We still see very few female entrepreneurs. We mentioned family already, we mentioned work-life balance, we mentioned access to funding. What do you think can make the difference for female entrepreneurship? What can actually break some of the barriers or help women get into entrepreneurship? Whoever wants to start.
I think for me, and also actually from the talks that we had just earlier, one of the biggest things is confidence, and for women to actually feel like they can do it. And there's, you know, that campaign, she can do it, or girl can do it, or whatever it is. I think it's really important to be able to feel like you can take a risk and to think about yourself for once. And I think women in general, we think about everyone else a lot more maybe than most men. Sorry, guys, who's in the audience. Thank you for caring. And I think that it's important to put yourself first sometimes, and a lot of women don't do that, and they think, actually, you know, I've got my family, I've got my kids, and where do I find the money? And we get scared a lot. You know, we get scared by what people are saying and what people say to us, and that does knock our confidence. And I think it's about going, do you know what? No, I am going to do it. And having role models and mentors is really important.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Vanessa.
Well, I think one thing I would encourage every single woman to do is to join a network.
Yeah.
Because actually there's a lot of help out there for companies, but you know, organizations like mine don't actually know where to find you. So if you're part of a network, then it's much easier to find you. I've met some of the companies that we've brought here, and many of them are a part of national, local, regional networks, so we can find you through that. But I'm going to take the onus a bit off of you as entrepreneurs in terms of accessing opportunities. And one of the things that we're very much pushing is for structural change. So change in the legal environment. You know, you're not any different in terms of what you're doing from male-owned companies, but it's an uphill struggle. There are legal barriers to your participation in the economy. In 90% of the economies surveyed by the World Bank, there's at least one legal obstacle that impedes women's economic participation. There's also, we've just released our SME competitiveness report last month, and we did some analytical work in there on obstacles for women-owned enterprises, and some of them we found that, you know, some of these include higher costs to trade, difficulty in securing certification, difficulty accessing information, gender bias from officials, which you're dealing with, and of course, access to finance is more challenging for women-owned companies. So I'm going to maybe, you know, I'm sure you have, as entrepreneurs, you have a lot of things that you're doing to access opportunities, but I think as policymakers, governments, industry, big industry, the onus is on us to recognize that the challenges still exist for women-owned companies, and the onus is on us to make sure that we're breaking down those barriers for you.
Thank you. Any more?
I think women's relationship with money is an interesting one. And I was at a big WeBank conference in the States earlier this year, and I asked the question to Janice Howroyd Bryant, who's one of America's first black billionaires, and I said, how do women get over not feeling uncomfortable about making money? and she succinctly said, you can do well and you can do good at the same time. And I think sometimes we're a little bit embarrassed to say that we're in business to make money, but of course we have to feed ourselves, and we have to have a roof over our heads. And sometimes as an entrepreneur, even those things get called into a challenge sometimes. So actually, it can be a matter of survival or not surviving. So it's not the wrong thing to focus on the money aspect of the business as well.
I think I'll just continue that. And that goes exactly on par with what I was saying about social businesses. And women seem to be going a lot more into the social angle, feeling like it's okay to make money that way, or to be in the social aspect, and that's kind of, I don't know, somehow not frowned upon. And I would say, as a challenge to everyone in this room, if you're thinking about starting a business, try and challenge the norms. Try and start a business that isn't necessarily a for-profit business or a non-for-profit business, but that is something that includes all of the best bits, and that actually that's doable, and you don't have to follow the rules and the patterns exactly.
Mm-hmm. What, Sarah, when you started
I was going to say that sometimes, at least in Portugal, sometimes I realize that fear of failure sometimes can be paralyzing. So I think we have to be aware that sometimes when you launch a company, you can fail sometimes, but it's okay to fail, because you will learn during the process. So you will win or you will learn. You never lose anything, so you can't be afraid of a failure. I think we have to be more willing to take risks and accept that failure can be part of the process sometimes.
Absolutely. I wonder how many of you here in the audience are thinking of starting your own business? Okay, so could I ask if anybody's willing to share, right now, is there anything that is stopping you? Are you just thinking about it? Is it about fear or confidence? Or, are you ready to go? What is missing if you are ready to go? It would be interesting to hear, so that we can also reflect back on that. What is it that you are thinking of? What might be stopping you? Or what's missing that perhaps you need help with? There's a mic. Sorry, can you bring the mic to the front?
Hi, so my name is Tawana Smith, and I've started my business, so it's not a fear of it. I've started it several years ago. I think the biggest challenge is really the childcare part. Wearing so many hats, you're not just a business owner, you're the wife, you're the mother, you're the banker, you're the CEO that doesn't have the, assistant.
Or the assistant.
in the house. You're just doing so many things. So sometimes the challenge is, well, I know that I want to grow the business and I know how to grow it, but can I handle that where I'm at right now? And making sure that I have the support structure in place, whether that's, so it's kind of like, the chicken before the egg, making sure that I have the funding to be able to pay for that support, whether that's, au pair or really I would love to have a nanny. So if anyone is gifting nannies, I will accept it. Having someone to help with that, in addition to having, the virtual assistant. So, I have a virtual assistant, but I actually need a little more. And if anyone is cloning people, I will also be a part of that program. So, it's not an issue of starting the business. It's the business is started. I want to scale up, but, can I really support it with scaling up because of all of these other responsibilities?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Before I answer that, can I take another point? Yes, there's the ladies there, and then maybe we can reflect on both comments. Just here on your right. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Electra and I'm a journalist from Greece. I have graduated last June and I was always wanted to make my own business. But what are the problems? Let's say for a person who just graduated and he has a dream of creating his own company. First of all, it's a network. You were very right saying that every woman needs a network because my degree was in political science. It means that I have no clue for a business plan, an accountant, how to create my own business. That's why I'm here, to build a network. Second step is the investment. You need money to make it. And the third one is that, I could start it right now, but because, it would be a website, so you don't need so much money. Everybody who owns a blog or something, they know that. But you don't have the clientele and the people. You can have a great idea, a beautiful one, but if you don't market it properly, it will go on trash. So that's why I've started writing to create my client, my people, and then do it. So it's network and clients for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So maybe now back to the panel. We've heard two different comments. So the lady here at the front was saying basically, can I handle that? Can I handle the growth? Can I do it whilst handling everything else that's happening in my life? So how do I scale it? What is going to enable me to do that? And the last lady we heard from was saying actually it's about the network and it's about the money. So again, how easy is it to be part of a network, to sell yourself as a startup, and also to access the funding? So be lovely to hear about this. Maybe Caroline, would you like to start with handling the growth and access to funding, which you both have experienced?
Yeah, so I started Maiden Voyage 8 years ago when I was head of technology for ITV. And so it was on a business trip there that I just thought, this is really boring, sitting in this hotel. I'm going to create a network. So actually I continued working for ITV and the BBC, and then I went on to be head of e-commerce at EasyJet. So I actually had 3 jobs in the course of growing my business. So if you've just graduated, then I would say get a job and start to build your business along the side, because it's not going to pay you or feed you from day one. So start to build your network, your confidence, your experience, find your way in the world, make those big connections. And actually what I found is that in the early days, people connected with me because of my corporate badge. So I went to a networking event and I told this guy that I was from Maiden Voyage and he wasn't interested. And when I told him I was from ITV, he was all over me. So actually, sad as it is, those corporate badges open doors for you as well. So the two can coexist. And actually, when I was in my last year, probably in my corporate role, I was asked to speak at Cranfield School of Management about the digital economy. And I was speaking with a guy who was the chief exec of a large telecommunications giant. And he was talking about his infrastructure. And then it was my turn to talk about Maiden Voyage. And I had a picture of a cloud and all the free software that I used off that cloud. And I said, I run my global business in 80 countries for £17.99 on the back of your infrastructure. And he loved my business, obviously, because his infrastructure cost more than £17.99 a month. And he invited me for coffee, and he said, I want to invest in your business. And I was absolutely terrified, because I thought, God, even I don't know if my business model is going to work. I'm not going to take investment from this guy and end up with, a massive debt. And all I could perceive was what I'd seen on TV from all these entrepreneur programs where they just ate you for breakfast. And so actually, we maintained a friendship, and he watched me grow, and he became a bit of a mentor. And as my business started to grow, I got more confident. I could leave my career behind, and I could go full time. And I reached the stage where the business needed a cash injection to grow, but I'd also pivoted my business model in such a way that I knew that any investor would get a return on their investment. And it was more about getting the right investor at that point. And he'd been with me steadily all the way, never pushed me. And in fact, I even asked him what his motives were. He was an older guy. I didn't know if he just fancied me, to be honest. So I wanted to be sure that he was in it for my best, for the best reasons for me, not for him. And so there was nothing to make me think otherwise. I spoke to his other investees, and I'm pleased to say that earlier this year we closed close to £500,000 investment, which has allowed me to bring a team on, and our business has completely ballooned, and now it's like a train and I can't stop it.
Thank you very much. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Vanessa, you perhaps can tell us a little bit more about scaling up.
Yeah, I think the first thing is I'd like to empathize with you. And I think as women, we need to stop trying to be so perfect in everything. So that's one thing I decided. I'll try my best at work, I'll try my best at home, but, you know, sometimes it's chaotic, and in the end it will work out. You know, what's the worst that could happen? So I think we need to do that. In the meantime, the parental leave policies and all the norms, the expectations of your role as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, hopefully with time will evolve, because I think also men miss out a lot on the opportunity to spend time with their families and invest in their families. In terms of scaling up, I think you just really have to educate yourself and connect yourself. So, for example, some of the work that we're doing at ITC through the SheTrades platform, you can go on, have a look on shetrades.com. One of the key areas of focus is providing knowledge, information, tools, so that we can teach you how to identify market opportunities, analyze where the growth is coming. You know, you really have to be analytical and think big, and then start analyzing, educating yourself, and finding the right content and tools for yourselves.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. And Sarah and Natalia, for you, you know, you started relatively recently. So what were the motives for you? And was there ever anything that sort of, are you still dealing with the confidence issue? Are you still thinking, oh my God, there are still all these challenges ahead of me, rather than, right, I'm in it now and nothing is going to stop me? How do you feel about? Is it an everyday struggle, or?
It's the same.
Well, for me, actually, 4 years ago, nearly 5 years ago, I actually set up 2 businesses in the space of 9 months, because I'm a crazy person and thought that was possible. And that was me being me and being a creative person that I am, and wanting to be involved in lots of different things. And even now, though I've got my own business, I help other people with their businesses, and I actually have helped other people get investment, but have decided not to take investment myself for my own business. And that was a decision that I made really very early on, that for me it was about a lifestyle, and it was about being able to stick to, actually I'm going to, hold on, I've got a thing. So I'm a true believer in understanding your mission and writing that down and going back to that mission. Every single time you have to make some sort of decision, whether it's a personal one or a professional one. And I'm at the stage now where I'm thinking, okay, maybe now is the time to rethink, do I actually want to stick to this one business and scale it up now after I've done all these other things, or do I still feel like it's a lifestyle business? And the only way I can decide that is by remembering what my mission is, which I will read out quickly. So my mission is to measure success based on the positive impact I make and how much fun I'm having doing so, to feel fulfilled in what I do and be surrounded by inspiring and creative people who appreciate that doing isn't as important as being human, to empower myself and others through adventure and creativity for social change. Now, for me, that is what I Am Adventures does, but so is everything else that I decide to do. And I think that it is just about the individual and how you want to start your business and how you want to go on in your lifestyle.
Okay, thank you. Sarah, what's your view?
Well, there are days where I wake up and I think I'm crazy. This is it's too big challenge, and there are other days where I go to bed really happy with myself because there's so much done and I was able to accomplish so much. So I think there are, in this early stage, the first year, there are good days and there are bad days, but you have to be resilient and you have to keep going, and in the end, everything is going to work out. I have to how do you say? You have to be flexible, to adjust the business model as it depending on the feedback from the market. So that's what I'm trying to do. I was fast going. I had a fast time. The go-to-market was quick. I was able to launch the website quickly, and now I have to adjust it and get the feedback from the client and just try to build the business out of the feedback. And
so it's a daily sort of. Some days it's very positive, and some days is more challenging, which I think is what most entrepreneur face. Again, can I ask the audience for a little bit of a question and sort of some comments back to reflect on this? So those of you who have been, apologies, there's a question, and can I just park it for a moment and come back to you? The microphone is there, just a moment. So I guess, those of you who already have businesses, how many of you think this is about, me being fulfilled and being happy? And how many are thinking, no, I really want to make it big, I want to take it to the next level, and I really want to understand how to empower and enable myself to do this? Because some of the discussion here has been about, the social aspect, or perhaps the fact that sometimes women stays more because of their fear of access to funding, but also the relationship with money, as CAROLYN was saying. So can we hear from you? Who is thinking, I'm going for world domination? And who is thinking, no, I'm quite happy where I am?
World domination?
Yeah. Okay. So can I ask you, maybe those who are thinking world domination, and there is absolutely nothing wrong. Oh my God, I wish you the best of luck with that. Can you tell us what your aspiration is and what's your thinking behind it? So how do you empower yourself to think that big? Is there yes? And then afterwards I'm going to come back to you. Thank you.
Hello, Shabnam from Iran. Until now, I run 3 businesses. And in my last business, I think I'm not very successful. Why? Because in the midterm, I lost my enthusiasm, and so I down everything. I think that enthusiasm is very important when we want to go from D point to A point. We need a strange enthusiasm and to follow the goals. In my last business, I had enough enthusiasm, so I solved all problems, and I was successful. But this time, in the midterm, I stop, and
so now you need to find your motivation again.
Yes, now I find motivation again, and now because of that, now I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the other lady? Yes, so can you pass on the microphone, please? Sorry, this lady here at the front was talking about world domination again.
Hi, my name is Atika. I'm 26. I'm from Singapore. It depends on how you see world domination as. For me, it's to learn everything in the world that I'm thirsty for knowledge, thirsty for experience. Sorry, because of one goal, to see how to learn the human behavior and why things are the way they are and how you can change that. So I'm still continuously learning. I don't have my big idea yet, but I hope I find that really soon through you're meeting people like you guys in the audience and the speakers and yourself, Alessandra.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And yes, can I just first go back to the lady who was very patiently waiting for her turn, and then I'll come back to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Lydia. I'm from Russia. Well, first of all, I really want to thank you for this session because I really feel very much touched, and it's actually so far has been one of the only true sessions to me, which is really not the commercial base, but very, very sensitive at the moment. My question came from your Natalia's vision topic, but it's actually, well, whomever can comment, I would really appreciate to hear that. My question is the following. A year ago, I felt that I'm not at all happy anymore at my wonderful corporate job, and it doesn't give me the energy, and I really felt the need to go to the values and the mission topic into myself. And I felt that I really relate to the values of giving Russia a bit of a better image than it normally has today, unfortunately, and also trying to make some social impact. And I felt I really want to start this concept, not even a business at the moment, but the concept of bring people to have an authentic experience in Russia, and I do this together with my mom, who's back there in Russia. And we also want to support, with part of our profit, kids in Russia who are not really privileged, an orphanage, in fact. And I felt a lot of pushback from a lot of audiences I've talked to about this, because first of all, hey, it's Russia. Not such a good judgment at the moment. Secondly, it's, hey, can you actually relate travel and orphanage? And there is a lot of discussion about that. But my question is to all of you, how do you deal with the pushback if there is such a thing happening to you? How do you resist it?
Very good question. Thank you very much. Sure, understood that. Can we answer this question first, and then we'll come back to the other ladies?
I've got a nice example. One of the things that was crucial for my business is to get the travel management companies to work with me, because I figured they've got access to lots and lots of business travelers, and if I could work with the travel management companies who are booking travel for large corporates, then that will massively increase our audience. And I went to a trade fair called the Business Travel Show 5 years ago, and the travel management companies were rude to me. They didn't want to engage with me. They pushed back. They said I was idiotic for focusing on just one gender. And I left there feeling like I was rubbish and I was an imposter and this was never going to work and they didn't like me. And on Tuesday this week, 5 years later, I was invited to stand on the stage at the GTMC, which is the Global Travel Management Conference, which is the managing directors of all those TMCs. And I knew that when I stood on that stage, in those 20 minutes, I could obliterate or skyrocket my business. And I knew that I would only know how I'd done by the response when I came off the stage. And the stack of business cards that I've got on my desk back at the office tells me that I had the right to speak to their bosses. And in fact, the biggest travel management company in the world has now asked for a meeting with me. So it's about consistent persistence. Keep going.
Yep. Thank you. Any more comments on this in terms of how to deal with the pushback?
I think it's very much the same even in a big organization like the UN system. 5 or 6 years ago, when the Women in Trade program was started, everyone was asking, what do women have to do with trade? But consistent messaging, building the evidence base as well, and just keeping on pushing back has brought us to a point where the whole organization, indeed, there's a big movement out there to support women entrepreneurs like you, not just from the ITC, but from the private sector as well.
Yeah. Sarah, did you have any pushback to deal with, or did you just go for it and not listen to any of those voices?
It's going to be my next challenge.
Not good.
I think there's always pushbacks in every aspect of life, right? And I think it's how you deal with it. I mean, I certainly have ran away and hid in a hole sometimes, and other times I've fought back, and other times I've just gone, whatever, there's plenty of other people out there that do like what I'm doing. And there's a huge market for everyone. We're all, you know, there's plenty of fish in the sea for every business, even if you are going for world domination. And you've just got to think, okay, if you don't like it now, maybe you'll like it in 5 years' time, or maybe you'll never like it. That's quite okay, because there's 20 other people over there that I'm going to go and talk to, and maybe 2 out of those 20 will appreciate what I'm saying. And it's just like with everything. I remember when I was doing marketing, I was a marketing manager, and the guys that I was working with, there was, I think, maybe 2, 3 women in the company of 40. And at a Christmas party, I remember the rumour going round that I must have slept with the boss to get to become a manager at the age of 23. And and I was just like, are you insane? Is this really what this has come down to? And, you know, there's always going to be stuff. You've just got to go, I'm better than that.
Brush it off, absolutely. The lady over there who wanted to speak, please, thank you.
Hi, I hope I can remember. My name's Carmen Fells. I'm Global Insight out of Washington, D.C. And I believe my comment was on world domination, because I feel like I agree with the young lady here. It's relative to what you feel domination is. Sure. And I feel I definitely want to make money. It's 2016. There's so many ways to make a lot of money. But I also feel that world domination is empowering others, and I plan to do that, you know, have others to... I work now to get youth who wouldn't normally even consider traveling opportunities to go. And then I also want to mentor young women in travel. So. Oh, and I wanted to see if we could stay in touch, if there was any way that people from this panel and in this room could stay in touch after this, because it's been really great information.
Thank you very much. On that point, I said it earlier, I guess I don't want to blow my own trumpet so much, but I will do it now. So the Women in Travel started as an event. This is the 3rd year, and I felt already last year that, you know, women like me, like you, like us, needed some opportunity to come together and share, but also that I would like to empower other women. I've been working with women for the best part of the last 15 years. And believe you me, I know about pushbacks. When I started in the early noughties, people were looking at me as if I was coming from another planet when I was talking about women and glass ceiling and opportunity empowerment and all the rest of it in the travel and tourism industry. But I kept going on. And I think, you know, absolutely there will be opportunity, because I'm now registering a social enterprise, and my aim is also to support women globally through project work initiatives that are, yes, event-based, but also project work with corporate, and that's sort of the way I'm going. So hopefully all people here involved will be able to stay in touch with each other one way or the other. So thank you very much. So in terms of, were there other questions right now? Anybody else who had put their, okay, that's fine. So I wanted to just continue the discussion a little bit. In terms of access to funding, again, I'm going back to that because I know from the experience that is one of the critical issues. You've done it. You are still thinking about it, I guess. For others. You've done it for others, but you are thinking about it in your own environment. You, Sarah, where are you right now with that?
Well, I started small. I have a very low cost fixed base. And I didn't take any loans. So what I did was I applied for an EU program for a micro. It's not credit. It's a micro subsidy, along with some savings, and that's how I started the website and all the digital marketing I'm doing so far.
Okay. And Vanessa, from your viewpoint, therefore, is access to funding what you also see as one of the barriers? And how do we solve it?
Yeah, it's been a major barrier for many, many years. As far back as, 15, 20 years ago, a lot of institutions started these targeted financing programs for women. It started with microfinance, then the commercial banks came into the game, and still there's an access to finance gap of $300 billion a year for women-owned companies. So in my view, and I come from a banking background, I started in commercial banking, in my view, we need to take a much more innovative approach to addressing this issue of access to finance, and not just looking for credit and loans from financial institutions, but looking for impact investors, equity investors, and other sources of financing to get our businesses off the ground. Also looking at securing, when you go and negotiate your terms with your buyers, thinking about the payment terms and the lead times so that you can maximize the use of your working capital. And I think that's a bit, thinking more creatively about how you finance your business. We see that a lot of women finance their business from family sources, even.
Yes, and it's typical. And I think we heard you before. I sell my house. I sell everything I have in order to finance the business.
And if I may put in, so every year we have this big annual confab, big forum. Women Vendors Exhibition and Forum, and the Istanbul edition that will take place on the 23rd and 24th of February has tourism as one of the sectors. So I encourage all of you to apply. It's by competitive process. If you're in the tourism industry, apply to attend, and there we bring buyers, and this year for the first time we're bringing impact investors as well. So we'll select some of the interesting companies who will have an opportunity to pitch for investment into their businesses. The Women Vendors Exhibition and Forum, it's in Istanbul, 23rd and 24th of February. There's some information at the back of the room, but you can also connect with us on Facebook, Women in Trade, at ITC Women in Trade on Facebook, or you can ask us questions on Twitter at ITC News, or you can visit shetrades.com.
Great. Thank you. Any question right now? Yes. Yes? Sorry, we can't hear you otherwise. It's much harder.
I was just going to add a point actually about, just before we move on, about the investors, and I think it's really important what you said about impact investors and actually knowing who you want to invest in your business. Like you were saying, do your homework. Don't just take the first person who comes along with money. Actually make sure that you want that person to be part of your business. You feel like if values are important to you, that they understand your values, so the business's values. If it's location or, whatever it might be that's important to you, make sure that you get that with them, because you don't want to end up 3 years down the line and falling out with your investor. That's not ideal.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, please.
I have a question. Actually, how do you market your businesses? It's through social media, through travel bloggers. Let's say that you have a great idea, a new project. What will you do for the people to know about it and to actually book it?
Thank you. What do we do about marketing?
Well, I'm trying to do B2C directly. So instead of partnering with tour operators, I'm trying to target clients directly. It's difficult. It takes time. It doesn't happen in 3 or 6 months, at least not for me. But I'm trying to put in place a digital marketing strategy in terms of optimizing your website, SEO, search engine optimization. Then you have Google AdWords. I'm going to start that now. I tried that before with a different agency. Now I'm switching agencies. Then you have all the social media, not just in terms of communication, but also in terms of paid adverts, basically Facebook. So you have quite a lot of interesting options with beginners, intermediate, and more even advanced Facebook ads. It's different than Google AdWords because you're in a closed network, but it's been very popular in the last couple of years. And you have email marketing also. It's very cheap and it's easy to manage. And then, of course, you can start by networking your own group of family, friends. Word of mouth is important, of course. And I would say it takes time, and but you can start with these small tools, easy tools to use, like email marketing, social media, optimizing your website, SEO. It will take time, but then it's an investment.
Can I just say you're a professional? You know, listening to you speak, you're like a model entrepreneur in terms of knowing what to do. If I may jump in and ask a question, how did you know about, so are you on Facebook, She Means Business, for example? How did you know about Google AdWords and so on? Because some of the work that we do is partnering with Google and Facebook to do capacity building and to get women entrepreneurs to know about these things. But how do you find out? Where do you get this information?
Well, I have a degree in business administration, business management, and I always worked in the corporate world before. So I worked in Allianz, I worked in Swissair, in Swiss Re, I worked in Switzerland for a couple of years. And then after that, I was involved in a project in Portugal, which was a tourism and real estate project. And there I did a post-graduation in e-business. But that was 10 years ago, and these things, they change really, really fast. So in this last year, after having worked with a couple of agencies, I wasn't very happy with the results they were delivering, because I was paying them a fee, and I wasn't seeing results. So I went and did my own Google AdWords course, and Facebook, there's a thing called Blueprint. You can do the studies e-learning. You can do it on your own rhythm, and it's really good. Facebook has a lot of resources, and you can study online, and there's a lot of a community of people who will be there to help you. And I like to learn on my own, and it helps to be able to do it at my own pace. And there's a lot of books you can buy also. And that's how I'm doing it, because now I'm able to manage the agency. I know where to see what they have to deliver, because otherwise because digital marketing can be a lot of things. And it's easy to be, how do you say in English? If you don't know what they have to deliver, it's very easy to be fooled. You know, you're paying a fee every month, and then you don't know what criteria you have to control. So now I'm better equipped when I have to choose someone to work with me, and I'm better equipped to sorry, word in English.
Select. In Portuguese.
No one will understand that. So now I know what to expect from an agency who's selling me Google AdWords, and I did all the work, because with Google AdWords, for example, the main thing is the keywords. Keyword research is really, really one critical factor for success. So I did that for the last month. I'm doing it, all the research for competitors. Where do you do the keyword research? You have to go to AdWords, key tools. There's a lot of information out there. So if you want to do the research on your own, if you have the time for that, it's great, because it's your business, and no one knows your business like you do. The agencies work with several businesses, travel, fast consumer goods, and whatever, and so on, and no one knows the business like you. So you have to do the homework.
Sure. Good. So from your viewpoint is direct access to market and consumers. Any other viewpoint to throw in the mix? How to market?
Well, I build big strategic partnerships, because I do partner with an organisation that turns over 1.6 billion, and their weight in the market and their endorsement is fantastic for us. So it's about picking really great partners. Also, do something that's really press-worthy. So, Maiden Voyage, we went global really quickly, because we were in the New York Times and we were on CNN, and we continue to be featured by Sky TV or the BBC. And so we don't use PR agencies. We very rarely do press releases, the press just love writing about us, and we make it really easy for journalists to do that. So if a journalist contacts us, we practically write the story for them, we give them the images, we give them more resources, so we become the dominant part of the feature as well. And of course, speaking engagements. So I just spoke at something called School in Monaco, which was for tourism professionals and various other travel industry events, because to get right in front of your target audience and for them to hear your story rather than just a broadcast of a tweet, really gets to the core of your audience. They're the three key things that work for me.
Fantastic. Anyone else?
I would say a bit of both, actually. So I do a lot of B2C, but I also do a lot of B2B. So I do a lot of kind of finding good partners that believe in what I'm doing, or do a similar thing, collaborations. So when I go to the different countries, I actually find other tour operators to partner up with. I work with the tourism industries there. I work with social enterprises who are doing stuff on the ground. I find people who might want to be ambassadors and who love what we're doing and want to talk about it. And then, and things like travel bloggers and other individuals who are just cool and doing their own thing. And my stuff's all about empowering other women, just like you. So it's about finding other women who are awesome and doing really good things. And working together and supporting each other. Women are great at supporting each other. And it upsets me so much when I hear of stories where women are fighting with each other or competing in the same industry or same market or stealing each other's ideas. There's just no need. There's no need to be like that. We can actually be growing much bigger businesses if we were to collaborate in situations. And that's what, if anything, I want everyone here to take away today, please.
Collaboration.
Yes.
That's a recurring theme. We work with thousands and thousands of, tens of thousands of women entrepreneurs, and it's incredible the amount of support and collaboration they give to each other. And I would say, so far, the success of the She Trades initiative, we've had commitments to connect 600,000 women to markets in the space of 1 year already. And I'd say the success that we've had comes from the women in our network mostly, because they go to their countries, they mobilize the networks on the ground, they champion the initiative and they own it, and they support each other and teach each other. And I think that is something that I haven't seen working with SMEs in general.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, I think we are not so slowly going to the heading towards the end of the session. I think it's about 5 past already. Any more burning, final, last question? Yes. The lady at the front, can we have the microphone?
Hi, I'm Patricia. I am in the beginning of starting my own company, but I started as an intern working for a company that does cycle tours, and it was a year ago. And now I bought those cycle tours, and I had 1 month to decide if I really wanted to do it. So I said yes on the 31st of October. And now, so I have to do everything now to arrange everything, making it my own company. But I've been set up on the speed train. He already emailed all the suppliers that I took over, and they expect me now to have a bank account, have insurance, have the money to start everything. And I'm like, I just want to cry right now. That's how stressed I am. And I'm like, at the moment, I'm thinking about all the things that I have to do. And even though this really helps me being here, I prefer to be home to do all those things and not sleep doing all those things. And I was wondering, is there, can I say to all those suppliers, I'm very sorry, but I don't know if I can do it right now, even though if I say no, I can't do it right now. I don't have any clients next season.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for being brave and sharing this, because it takes some courage. So well done to you.
I'd say, first of all, it's totally okay to go home and cry and hide if you need to do that for a bit. But know that you have to come back out and face up to whatever the challenge is. And I think that it's okay to do whatever it is that you think you need to do. If you don't feel like you can, that there isn't an option for you to set that all up before you need to, then honesty is the best policy in my books. And girls might have different opinions. But there may well be a way. How long have you got to do this?
Yeah. Well, I think first of all you need to get some support. Maybe there are some agencies even here in London or wherever you are that could help you identify some interns who can work for free and do things for you. But I think sometimes that's the best way to have things. Now you're in the situation and you just have to do it. And as you said, it's fine to cry, but you can do it. You can do it. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it. They must have had the confidence in you as well to hand this over to you. So lean in and take this opportunity. It's not every day that opportunities come.
Definitely. And I think about it creatively, think of creative solutions. Maybe the first year you can collaborate with someone else and set it up together. Yeah. Maybe you can have an agreement in place where the first year this is what's happening, and you just let the suppliers know that everything's still going to run the same way, but there's someone else in the mix. Or just start to sort of brainstorm a little bit about different ways you can do it, and don't just think of the only way.
Can I add something? Sorry. Hi, my name's Natalia. I think also breaking things down into manageable size chunks. Maybe set the expectations for your suppliers. So if they want things now, just say, you'll get it here or then, when you feel that it's manageable for you. I was part of a team part of a women's team, 6 women, and we rowed across the Pacific. We got back in January of this year, and a lot of people thought that was impossible, and it was the first of its kind. And for me to get through, it was 9 months in total, but we just had to get through every day, and not only every day but every 2-hour shift. And it was literally just breaking it down and just persevere. I think perseverance and just keep going stroke by stroke, basically.
Yeah. Yes, Natalia knows a lot about perseverance and resilience, absolutely. Anything else from you, ladies, Sarah and Caroline, on this specific question of how to deal with, the panic in the moment, but actually knowing that you can do it?
I think take out anything that you don't need to do, clear out all the clutter, and work out what the core of the things are that you need to do. But also don't set yourself up to fail miserably. So if you're going to breach legalities or, as you say, insurance or anything like that, don't jeopardize your business. Just be really clear about what has to be done and what could be done, and separate the two out and deal with the essential parts, which will keep you safe and keep you legal and keep your clients safe.
Yeah, no, I agree with Caroline.
Yeah, and I would add to that, be strategic. And so make choices, select. You don't have to satisfy everybody. Sure. For the first year, just focus which might be the 10, 5, 3 most important clients. Sometimes it's better to start with a small pool and grow. The low-hanging fruit, the one that will bring you more business perhaps or better return. So focus on those and tell the other, hey, not this year, 2018, I'll be coming back to you, and my product will be so good you won't say no. Yeah. So just then exceed their expectation when you're ready to. That would be my advice. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've really come to the end, but it's been a great debate. I want to thank the speakers, of course, And once again, I don't even know if they're in the room, but thank my sponsors, Sojourn and Rooster PR, again, for supporting this event. There is a little bit of refreshment, so please feel free to stay on, have a cup of tea, network, that's what we are here for. If you've enjoyed the session, please feedback, contact me. If you're thinking of ways of collaborating, great. I'm very open to that, and I'm sure all the panel and the panelists and speakers and absolutely, any ideas, feedback, write to me and tell me you could be doing this, or what about that? We are very open. I'm very open to your feedback, because ultimately we are here for you. And no other reason. So thank you very much to the speakers. Thank you.